According to Oxfam, Bill Gates of Microsoft is likely to become the world's first trillionaire. Trillionaire. That's amazing, man. I can't believe. I've read this article like 3 times. Every time I read it, I can't believe it. I'm like, what? $1 trillion. Okay, I don't think a human being can spend $1 billion in a lifetime. How can you spend $1 billion? $1 billion. Not a million, not 100 million, not 200 million, not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 million. $1 billion. But now we're talking trillion? We're talking trillion with a T? I don't. They say by the year 2042. By the year 2042, he'd be 86 years old if he was on pace, if he continues in the same pace. And they also say when he left Microsoft in 2006, he was worth $50 billion. Right now, or they say over the next decade, it increased to $75 billion. But I looked it up last night, and apparently it's over $80 billion. The guy's worth over $80 billion. Guys, he can't do enough fucking philanthropy. He is doing a lot of charity philanthropy, but how the fuck do you still have $80 billion? How are you going to maybe be the world's first trillionaire? How? You could do, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. The system we have makes no fucking sense. Like, I do get it in the sense that, oh yeah, well look, when it comes to economic value, he produced something that has massive economic value, so he's reaping the rewards of that thing. Like, I get that. I understand that. But no, like that's still no. Like I'm just going to go ahead and file that under the no category of you having $1 trillion fucking dollars. There are people who are starving. How many people in the world? I don't know the number for this, but somebody should look it up right now as I'm talking. How many people in the world live on less than $1 a day? I'm curious about that. How many people in the world live on less than $1 a day? I'm going to guess it is millions, if not maybe. I mean, there's over 7 billion people on the planet? Maybe over 1 billion people live on $1 or less a day. So, I mean, in the United States, 50% of the country makes $30,000 a year or less. Half the country basically is living in poverty. Now, I know by world standards, $30,000 a year is not poverty. But when you look at U.S. standards and you look at the quality of life that gets you, I mean, think about, we have a minimum wage that's not a living wage. You can work a full-time job and bust your ass and not make enough money to just survive and get the bare minimum. We have that right now. Right now, you can work full-time and not make enough money to live. And we're talking about somebody might be a trillionaire. A trillionaire. A trillionaire. If you have $1 trillion, I wonder how many countries you have more money than. You probably are richer than a bunch of countries. You're probably richer than some countries combined, some small countries. I mean, god damn, man. What are we doing? Your economic value is not equal to your human value. Those are different things. So when you set up a system that judges people and gives them material well-being solely based on their economic value, you're going to have a fucked up system. I mean, look at the fucking Paris Hilton and people like that. How many millions of dollars does she have and she did nothing but sit on her ass her whole life? Now, I'm not saying you take, Paris Hilton and you say you can't inherit any of daddy's money or grandpapa's money. What I'm saying is we need a system that, yes, redistributes wealth. You can still have her be well off and you can still have her be fine. But you should tax that and make sure you give everybody an equal opportunity. If you're born to Mitt Romney or you're born to Conrad Hilton, what is your life going to look like versus a kid who's born in the middle of Harlem? There's no comparison and there's no equal opportunity. In a 100-yard dash of life, one kid is stuck at the very beginning. Paris Hilton is already 98 and a half yards down the field. So this is not... God, it's so gross, man. And understand, I need everybody to get it. I'm not arguing for some sort of weird equal system across the world. Like, I'm not saying you should have a one world government. I'm not saying you should have, everybody should make the exact same amount of money, from each according to his ability, to each according to his need. Let's do like the CEO and the janitor make the same, because equality, bro. Woo. I'm not making like a uber liberal hippie, like super duper far left argument. What I'm asking for is equal opportunity. What I'm asking for is limiting the amount of extreme, severe poverty in the world. What I'm asking for is to take our system, which is just broken, and make it so that you actually have a meritocracy. So in other words, you have a minimum standard of living that people don't go below, because we're civilized people and we understand that if times are rough, you still should have a fucking roof over your head and you should be able to survive. You have a minimum standard of living, and then it's a race, and then it's okay based off your abilities. Let's see how far you can get. Let's keep it within a reasonable realm. I mean, is it really a crazy idea? This is an idea Tom Hartman spoke about. I wasn't sure I was on board with it. I still don't know if I'm on board with it. But the idea of everything any individual makes over $1 billion, you do 100% tax on it. So you cap out at $1 billion. So you could never make more than $1 billion. Now, I mean, I guess some people would argue, well, that's against freedom. But it also provides people with actual equal opportunity if you can actually take that money and redistribute it and put it into roads and bridges and healthcare and education. And it's like, if you make $1 billion, you will literally be set for life, period, end of discussion. So, and it's not just like, oh, they have all they need. They have all they need and all they want, and there is no counter argument to that. At a certain point, an amount of wealth that's that much, that gets like over $1 billion, you have so much wealth that your existence genuinely destabilizes the world system and the economy. I mean, that's so out of whack that it's a giant fuck you to all common sense and reason. And if somebody says, hey, the max anybody should make is $1 billion, is that really crazy? I'm not sure I could spend $100 million in one lifetime. 100 million. 200 million, definitely not. $1 billion! If we say everything over $1 billion, you're taxed at 100%. And it's given to the people. So in other words, it's not a ruse to like, okay, tax them, and then the government keeps it, and like they get way rich, and they all have way over $1 billion. No, I'm talking about a system that would actually do the right thing and set up equal opportunity with that money. I don't know if I favor that idea, but I don't think it's crazy. I don't think that's crazy. In fact, I think what's crazy is having maybe a person who's a trillionaire. That's fucking crazy. The richest 8 people in the world have more than 50% of the world combined. The richest 8 people have more than 3.6 billion people. Think about that as if it was a pizza pie. Like, seriously, think about it as if it's a pizza pie. So you open up the pizza pie, and 8 people take half the pie. And 3.6 billion have the remaining half. Does that make sense? Is that a little disproportionate? It's not logical. And your economic value is not equal to your human value. It's just not. So we should have a system that allows for equal opportunity, a system that actually fosters a real meritocracy, as opposed to this bullshit system we have now that gets so out of whack that if you were to show it to aliens and explain to them that this is how it functions, they would look at us and say, oh, so you guys are like dumb. So you guys are like not smart. So you're still at that level of like, that? Great. So you're Neanderthals, basically. That's what it is. I mean, that's when I read stuff like this, that's what it makes me think.